And welcome back to AllFreeCrochet.com. I'm your host Mikey, and today we are reviewing what I did yesterday as far as felting. So this is the Coles Notes version of it. This is the lessons that I learned. As you know, when I was filming yesterday, it was a live idea. I had never felted before, so I kind of made a few mistakes in the video, and a lot of viewers have been really wonderful and explaining to me what could be different. So you will notice that the shrinkage factor is huge between it. So I'll show a before picture of this bag here, and compared to the original one that we have, this is a Peyton's pattern that this was done about in the Peyton's book, just like so. This is called Classic Wool Merino, Classic Holidays, and this is a Peyton's book. So Peyton's allowed me to knock off this bag in order to make it more of a handbag in crochet. So this is originally knitting, so we tried to convert it to crochet. So you can see that the shrinkage difference is quite significant. They say for every 4 inches that you're going to lose 1 inch. And this is really quite significant. So if you have a hat that fits you before it goes through the felting process, it will not fit you after because of the shrinkage and the way things are coming down. So a mistake in the video that we did yesterday with the felting process is that somebody recommended I use an old towel because of the bleeding of the yarn. Because you got to use the hottest water in the washing machine, you have to classify that the yarn could actually bleed. So I threw in an old towel with it, and because of the way that felting works is that the hot water breaks apart the fibers, and then the cold water puts everything back together. But if you have a towel in the washing machine, you always lose something. So the fibers of the towel, when this goes to put itself back together, will be collecting, and so you'll end up with white specks all over it. So we also found, you can see my reaction when it came out of the washing machine. You know, I was pretty quiet for a few seconds there, and I'm looking at it because I'm not really convinced that it's really worked that well. And what's happened is that the towel is not abrasive enough, so I had to re-wash it again. So in actual fact, this has gone through 2 washes now, and the second time I used an old pair of jeans. Now get somebody else's jeans in the house, wreck somebody else's clothing, don't wreck your own. But if you're going to do it, you need something abrasive inside your washing machine. The other thing that I had an issue with is that my washing machine is a high efficiency, it's a front end loader. So what happens is that because it's always coming in and out of the water, this is not having really enough time to felt. So what I had to do is I had to wash it again. So that actually makes a huge difference in the felting process as well. I also learned too, we used a Peyton's classic wool. This is 100% wool. You have to use 100% wool. This will not work with any kind of acrylics, or you got to watch your blends if you're going to try to do this, but 100% wool is definitely the best. Is that every ball of yarn could act differently. You will notice here that the green seems to be bulging out, and then you'll see that there's kind of a bell shape happening where the green has started. So obviously the green has reacted somewhat differently in here. So every ball will act different, every brand will act different. The shrinkage of how it will look is depending on the brand as well. So for the felting, when you do it, I just put in 2 tablespoons of baking soda in the wash. You will kind of notice that smell in the air that I learned as well. And I recommended in the video that you could probably cut this apart and make holes. I was advised by many viewers, as well as a close friend of mine, that you don't want to cut this if you can still see your stitches, because what happens is if you can still see the stitches, that means that the fibers haven't broken apart all the way in order for it to lock into position. So if I put a hole in the one that came out on the first wash yesterday, chances are my whole project will fall apart. They say if you can see your stitches that it's not really felted that properly, so you can continue to wash it again until you get all the stitches to break apart. But they do say that in crochet that you will tend to see a little bit of your stitch work as a result of the process. Where knitting, just like so, basically everything just disappears. So those are the lessons I learned through yesterday's live tutorial, and what I would do differently next time. I already got my eyes on different projects that I kind of want to try and felt now, because I think that the felting process, the whole washing and how things will come out at the end, I'm just still a little bit worried about the shrinkage rate. You don't want to invest a lot of time in a project and then all of a sudden you realize that something that you made is all of a sudden really quite small, so you have to compensate for that as well. On behalf of All Free Crochet and the Crochet Crowd, I'm your host Mikey, celebrating Howto Felt again.